So I decided, where's the camera? Make sure I know where it is so I can actually look at the camera. So I decided that today I'm going to make a video about calluses, because they're an interesting thing that your skin does to work. They're pretty much the opposite of blisters. I mean, the opposite effect happens. When you get a callus, if it's worked properly, then your skin becomes much tougher, much stronger. And when you get a blister, it's because it's been worked the same way you'd get a callus, but too much, to the point where it gets damaged and it actually becomes weaker, and after it heals there might be some scar tissue if it's a big blister. So it's the opposite of a callus, so you don't want to get a blister. But you get calluses by practicing your fingers, like practicing doing something that's very difficult with your fingers or any part of your body, really. You can get the callus anywhere. You have calluses on your feet, but if you play a guitar, you probably have calluses on your fingers, unless you only play it for a few seconds. So you have to have calluses if you play a guitar, and especially a bass or any other stringed instrument, and there's other things that you need a callus for. But so you have to work it up, you have to use it a little bit, and it hurts your hands, but you have to make sure that you can feel the skin and it's not starting to come loose like a blister. If you've had a blister before, then you know what kind of a limit to go to before stopping, or you know around that limit. But so you have to work up a callus. Like when you were younger, you weren't born able to walk. You stood up in increments until you were able to figure out your balance, and you did that after a period of maybe a year or so. And after that, you could walk. Probably not as well as someone who's older, but you could still walk, and you develop calluses on your feet because they've been exercised the right way. Whereas if you just use calluses on your feet, like the way you'd get when I was just talking about, and then you go, say, on a big mountain and just hike that, you'll get blisters unless you stop at the point where you can build stronger calluses. So it's better to hike a mountain like the Appalachian Trail in sections, which my sister learned the hard way. But so I haven't really searched this topic up, but I know that generally in the skin, when something happens, there's a reaction, some kind of enzyme, or I forget what they call something that goes into an enzyme, but an enzyme is a molecule that another molecule can fit inside of, and it can detect that certain molecule. Sometimes other molecules can fit in there and make it have a weird problem, which is how drugs work. But so either an enzyme or a molecule that goes into an enzyme is created in the skin, in which a molecule or enzyme that's in the bloodstream or in some other part of the body, probably the bloodstream because that's pretty much how the body gets things around, will react with that and make it heal. Or if it's damaged, then it will cause a blister. I'm not really sure evolutionarily why a blister forms. Maybe it's to let you know how to build calluses. But a callus is a good thing, more or less. It means you have tougher skin. Like today, I only have calluses on this hand because I fret the guitar with this hand and I use a pick on my other hand. But with a callus, like, that's the sound of my finger with the callus tapping the desk that my phone is on. This is the sound of a non-calloused finger. It probably sounds the same. It might sound exactly the same to the camera, but there's definitely a difference in the sound because one is harder and one is softer. But they're really useful. Like today I was cleaning something that had some gunk on it with a knife, and I accidentally moved the knife and the tip of it went right into my finger, but it didn't puncture my finger. In fact, as far as I can tell, it barely cut it, like maybe just the slightest bit, but there's no bleeding or anything, and it's because it was the calloused finger and it hit right on the callus. And I know because I've cut myself by accident with a knife before, that if you cut yourself with the force that I accidentally cut myself with, and you didn't have a callus, that would have cut open your finger. Probably not really bad, but it would have at least made a little cut. But the callus completely shielded that. It also makes it to where you can play guitar without your fingers hurting like hell. Or you can walk on a hike on a mountain without getting blisters, which hurts. Well, I guess it also hurts like hell if you don't have calluses and you're walking on a rocky mountain and you have the kind of shoes that I do, which are toe shoes. They don't have as strong of a sole. Even the strongest ones, you can still feel the rock, but it's not like wearing a sock. It's a bit different. But so yeah, that's how calluses work. You could probably look up the name of the chemicals that are caused uh, in your skin, the molecules, and what the reactions are going on, like that I was describing, in more detail if you were to look up what chemistry goes on in your skin to form calluses. But they're pretty cool. Thought I'd make a video about them.